Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support this legislation for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that if we don't win the race to 5G, we're going to lose out on all the economic benefit and dividend that comes with that. And China isn't having this kind of discussion right now. They're just clearing mid-band spectrum and allowing their companies to go after it. This is important to the future of this country, that we get this right. And the only way we get it right is we've got to get more mid-band spectrum made available for commercial use. And obviously, it takes some time to do a public auction, no question about it. It takes a lot longer time, and we all know that. If you have to try and pull it back and go to court to get it without providing any sort of incentive for those who occupy that to vacate it. And we saw that with the broadcast, with the incentive auction there. $19 billion were raised, $7 billion ended up going to the taxpayer, 35% was all, because the broadcasters had to be incentivized to give up the spectrum that was necessary to get it into commercial use. The same thing applies here. And what Senator Wicker's and my bill does is simply sets a floor, not a ceiling, and it tells essentially the FCC that they have the ability, if necessary, not only to use some of these proceeds to conduct the auction, but also to incentivize those who occupy that spectrum to give it up quickly so that we can get it back into commercial use. And that isn't to say that the FCC couldn't take a lot more of that and allocate it for some other purpose. It simply says that this is a floor, this is an amount, a minimum amount, which I might add is 15% more than what the broadcasters, what we received when we had the broadcast auction not that long ago. So this really is about who's going to win the future. And to win the future, we have to start moving and moving quickly. We can't afford to be tied up in litigation for the next 4 to 5 years. And I think that the legislation here in front of us is a bipartisan approach to do that. And I hope we can work with our colleagues on the other side to come to an agreement about how to proceed on this matter, because it's that important to the future of the country. And I don't view this as being a partisan issue either. It never has been in the past. And I will take a backseat to no one on this committee or in the Senate when it comes to advocating for more technology to be delivered, services to be delivered to rural areas of this country. And I will continue to do that. It's important that we get this legislation across the finish line.